much as I enjoy all of these new interesting buildings built in Calgary over the past few years, nothing intrigues me more than the structures from our past. Recently, I have become fascinated by the last houses in downtown Calgary. Have you seen any of these before? These are dwellings that were built around the turn of the century, as Calgary was establishing itself as a major city in the early 1900s. Let's explore the remaining houses from that era and learn a bit of their history. Starting at the west end of downtown and traveling east, this abandoned brick house is one of my favorite remaining dwellings downtown. It was built in 1911 by farmer Alfred Ellsworth, who only lived in the house for a year. Since then, it's been occupied by over a dozen different tenants. The house's structure still looks solid, it's still in fairly good condition, and I could see someone coming along and renovating it into something pretty interesting. Kitty corner to the brick house is this place, 1040 5th Avenue Southwest. It seems to be in really good condition, and until recently was home to a jewelry store. Now, I have seen two construction years for this house. One is 1910 and the other is 1925. Unfortunately, I do not know which one is accurate. Next up is another old house turned jewelry store. This one is located at 1106 6th Avenue Southwest. It's in great shape, which actually makes it kind of boring looking to me. I don't know why, but I prefer my old houses to look really old. Sticking with jewelry stores, this old brick mansion turned high-end retail space is apparently haunted by a ghost dog. I can't confirm or deny that claim, but I do know that this is the former home of Jacob and Rachel Diamond, the first Jewish people to settle in Calgary. The house was turned into apartments in 1966 and then turned into retail space in 1975. Heading into the Eau Claire area of downtown, this house is on the same land as the historic Trinity Lutheran Church. In the past, the house has been occupied by the church's pastor and his family, but the church now rents the place out to members of the general public. Now, there's a bit of confusion around when the house was actually built. I've seen both 1912 and 1914 put forth. The house doesn't show up on the 1911 Calgary Fire Insurance Plan map, but shows up on the 1914 version. Next up is 410 6th Street Southwest, a house that has been converted into offices. Built in 1911, this is the former home of Alexander Piri, the architect who is best known for designing the Devonish apartments on 17th Avenue Southwest. He also designed other prominent apartment buildings downtown, most of which are still standing. Just around the corner on 4th Avenue Southwest is 631, a house built in 1905 and occupied by Harry Raybould and family for many years. It was eventually turned into offices and now sits abandoned. Just a warning to all the Urbex heads out there, this place is barred up and locked down tight, making exploring its interior next to impossible. This is probably my favorite house downtown. Just for its proximity to massive office buildings and skyscrapers, the juxtaposition is aesthetically pleasing. From the former Raybould residence, we head to the east end of the city to check out the last remaining house in East Village. Standing next door to Studio Bell, home of the National Music Center, 521 8th Avenue Southeast was built in 1904 and wins the award for the next downtown house that will most likely be demolished so CMLC or some developer can repurpose the land. But for now, the house still remains occupied. The last stop on the Downtown Calgary house tour involves two half houses in Chinatown. Both structures were built in the late 1800s, with 312 Center Street Southeast once being known as Hall's Terrace, which, according to this 1888 classified ad, offered living spaces for rent. I assume the houses were cut in half to accommodate the construction of the retail spaces that surrounds them. However, I'm not sure why they weren't knocked down instead. Here's a picture from the late 40s, early 50s where the houses are still whole. And here they are today, hidden amongst Center Street Chinatown businesses. These are the last remaining houses of downtown Calgary. I strongly encourage you to get out there and check them out. There's no telling how much longer some of them will be around.